Hi, welcome children. Today I am going to start Unit 13 of the grade 10. Unit 13 of the grade 10. Right, right. What is the Unit 13 of the grade 10? The Unit 13 of the grade 10 is Biosphere. Unit 13 of the grade 10 is Biosphere, right? Okay, let's go to learn about the Biosphere, right? In the Biosphere, firstly we have to learn about the classification of animal. Classification of animal. What is the classification of animal? Right. Classification of animals mean grouping of organism into different levels. Grouping of organism into different levels based on their common characteristics. Based on their common characteristics is known as classification. Is known as classification. Right now we have learnt about what is mean by classification. No? We have learnt about what is mean by classification. Right, then we will go to learn about significance of classification of organism. Significance of classification of organism. Right, let's go to learn about signification of classification of organism. Right, first one, easy to study about organism. Easy to study about organism. Right, second one, ability to identify specific distinguishable characteristics of an organism. Ability to identify specific distinguishable characteristics. Distinguishable characteristics of organism. Right, next one, ability to get an idea. Ability to get an idea about the whole biosphere by studying about few selected organisms. Ability to get an idea about the whole biosphere by studying about few selected organisms. Right, next one, ability to reveal. Ability to reveal the relationship between different groups of organism. Ability to reveal. Ability to reveal the relationship between different groups of organism. Between different groups of organism. Right, next one, identification of organism with economical uses to human. Identification of organism with economical uses to human. Right, okay, now we have learned about significance of classification of organism. No, significance of classification of organism. Right, let's go to our next topic. Right, our next topic is methods of classification of organism. Right, now when we consider about the methods of classification, there are different types of methods for classification of the organism. Right, okay, we will go to see what are these different methods of classification of organism. Right, first one, the organism on earth. The organisms on earth is classified into two methods. Organisms on earth is classified into two methods. What are these two methods? Right, one of them is artificial classification. One of them is artificial classification. Right, another one is natural classification. Another one is natural classification. Right, now we have learned about the methods of classification of organism. No, the methods of classification of organism. Right, under the methods of classification of the organism, we have learnt about all organism on earth is classified into two methods. All organism on earth is classified into two methods. No, right, one of them is artificial classification. The second one is natural classification. Artificial classification and natural classification. Right, then we will go to learn about what is the artificial classification. What is the artificial classification. Right, so let's go to learn about what is the artificial classification. Right, now you can see this. Right, the ordering of organism into groups on the basis of non-evolutionary features. Now when we consider about the organism have evolutionary features as well as non-evolutionary features. Right, in the artificial classification, non-evolutionary features are used. non-evolutionary features are used to classify the organism. To classify the organism. So the ordering of organism means grouping of organism. If not ordering of organism into groups, ordering of organisms into groups on the basis of non-evolutionary features, on the non-evolutionary features, right? Okay, according to the artificial classification, plant can be grouped as ornamental plants, herbal plants, and poisonous plant. Poisonous plant, right? Ornamental plants, herbal plants, and poisonous plant. Those are the plants that classified by using artificial classification, right? Then animals can be grouped as with wings and without wings. With wings and without wings, right? Okay, right. Those are the different groups of animals that classified by the artificial method of classification. Right, now we have learned about what is meant by classification. After that we have learned about significance of the classification. After that we have learned about method of classification. In the method of classification we have learned about there are two methods for the classification of organism, no, right? One of them is artificial classification, the second one is natural classification. Right, now we already have learned about what is the artificial classification. Right, in the artificial classification we have learned about the non-evolutionary features are used to classify the organism in the artificial classification. Right, according to this topic, if not according to this method, plants can be grouped as ornamental plants, herbal plants, and poisonous plant. Right, after that we have learned about how to classify the animals by using artificial methods of classification. Here animals have been divided into two groups as with wings and without wings. With wings and without wings. Right, okay, then we will go to our next topic. Right, natural classification. Now we are going to learn about the natural classification. So let's go to learn about what is the natural classification. Right, natural classification depicts the evolutionary relationship among living organisms. In the artificial classification used non-evolutionary relationship, but in the natural classification evolutionary relationship among living organisms. Evolutionary relationship among living organisms are used to classify the organism. Classify the organism. In natural classification, following things are considered. Right? Okay, let's go to learn about what are the things that considered in the natural classification. Natural classification. The first one is morphological features. Morphological features is considered in the natural classification. What is the next one? Physiological features. Not only morphological features but also physiological features also used in the natural classification. Right? Not only these two features. Next one, cytological features. Cytological features. Molecular biological features. Right? Those are the features that considered in the natural classification. Right? Okay, tell me what are the features that considered in the natural classification? The first one is morphological features, physiological features, cytological features, and molecular biological features are the features that considered in the natural classification. Natural classification. Right, now we have learned about what is the natural classification, no? Right, after that we have learned about what are the features that considered in the natural classification. Right, okay, right, let's go to our next point. The natural classification process below features. Natural classification forces below features. Right, okay, now we will go to learn about what are the features that forces by the natural classification. The first one is explain the natural relationship among organisms of the same species. In the natural classification, explain the natural relationship. The natural relationship among organism of the same species. Right. Next one, explain the evolutionary relationship among different organisms. Explain the evolutionary relationship among different organisms. Right now, we have learned about what is the natural classification, what are the considerable features of the natural classification, and what are the features contained in the natural classification, right? Okay, then we will go to our next topic. Our next topic is three domain system of classification, right? Three domain system of the classification is the one of the method of natural classification. Three domain system of classification, one of the classification used to classify the organism in the world, right? According to this domain, this theory, all the organisms are divided into three domains. All the organisms are divided into three domains, right? Let's go to learn about what is the three domain system of classification, right? First one, modern classification is the classification introduced by Carl Woese with three domains, right? This system of, if not this three domain system of classification is introduced by Carl Woese, the scientist Carl Woese, right? Modern classification is also belongs to three domain system of classification. So now we are discussing about the modern method of classification in the world, right? Okay, next one, the three domains are domain Archaea, domain Bacteria, domain Eukarya. Domain Archaea, domain Bacteria, domain Eukarya, right? According to this method, all the organism in the world belongs to these three domains. Belongs to these three domains. What are the three domains? Domain Archaea, domain Bacteria, domain Eukarya. Domain Archaea, domain Bacteria, domain Eukarya. Right now, we have learned about three domain system of classification. Under the three domain system of classification, we have learned about the three domains of classification. Now, right, let's go to learn about domain Archaea. Domain Archaea. Right. What is the domain Archaea? The organism belongs to this domain are prokaryotes. Right. The organism belongs to domain Archaea are prokaryotes. Prokaryotes. What is the prokaryotes? Prokaryotes mean without an organized nucleus. Without an organized nucleus, right? If some organism haven't a organized nucleus, such organism are belongs to prokaryotes. Prokaryotes are belongs to domain Archaea. Domain Archaea, right? Next one, they have the ability to live in extreme environment condition like volcanoes, desert, hot springs, ocean beds, high saline environment, and polar ice caps. Those are the environments that domain Archaea can be live. Domain Archaea can be live. Right under the domain Archaea, firstly we have learned about the organism belongs to this domain are prokaryotes. The organism belongs to this domain are prokaryotes. The prokaryotes mean without an organized nucleus. Without an organized nucleus, right? And then we have learned about they have the ability to live in extreme environmental conditions like volcanoes, desert, hot springs, ocean beds, high saline environment, and polar ice cap. Right, okay. Then we will go to our next point. Right, they are not sensitive to most antibiotics. Now, when we consider about the domain Archaea, domain Archaea are not sensitive. Domain Archaea are not sensitive to most antibiotics. Most antibiotics, it means antibiotics cannot be used to destroy them. Cannot be used to destroy them. This, that is, they cannot be destroyed with antibiotics. Examples, methanogens and halophils are the some organism that belongs to the domain Archaea. Domain Archaea, right? Then we will go to learn about the our next topic. Our next topic is domain bacteria. Domain bacteria. Right now, we are going to learn about the domain bacteria. Firstly, we have learned about the domain archaea. After that, we have learned about the domain bacteria. Right. The organism belongs to this domain are also prokaryotes. Now we know what is meant by prokaryotes. Now prokaryotes mean without an organized nucleus. Without an organized nucleus. The organism belongs to this domain. This domain means domain bacteria are also prokaryotes. Prokaryotes. Next one. They are sensitive to antibiotics and sometimes are pathogenic. Right. Now when we consider about the domain bacteria, bacteria are sensitive to antibiotics. It means bacteria can be destroyed. Bacteria can be destroyed by antibiotics. By antibiotics. Sometimes are pathogenic. Pathogenic means it cause for some diseases. Pathogenic means it cause for some diseases. Right now we have learnt about 2 points under the domain bacteria. No? One of them is the organism belongs to this domain are also prokaryotes. Prokaryotes mean without an organized nucleus. After that we have learnt about they are they are sensitive to antibiotics and sometimes are pathogenic. Right after that they can be found everywhere in the environments. The organism that belongs to domain bacteria can live, if not can be found everywhere in the environment. Everywhere in the environment. Next one. They are the most abundant group of organism. Most abundant organism. They are the most abundant group of organism in the environment is domain bacteria. Domain bacteria, right? Then we will go to learn about what are the examples for the domain bacteria. Bacteria, cyanobacteria belongs to the domain bacteria. Right now we have learned about three domain system of classification. Under the three domain system of classification, I have told you there are three domains. No, the one of them is domain archaea. The second one is domain bacteria. Third one is domain Eukarya. Domain Eukarya. Right. Under this topic, firstly, you already have learned about what is the domain archaea and what is the domain bacteria. Right. Then we will go to learn about some picture relevant to the domain bacteria and cyanobacteria. This picture represents the bacteria. This picture represents the cyanobacteria. Not only these shape but also there are different shape of the bacteria. Bacteria can be classified by using their shape also. Right. Next one. Right. Then we will go to learn about domain Eukarya. Domain Eukarya. Right. What is the domain Eukarya? Right. The most prominent organism. Most prominent organism. Right now when we consider about the three domains, the domain Eukarya is most prominent organism. Most prominent organism. Next one. Have an eukaryotic cellular organization. What is the eukaryotic cellular organism? We already have learned about what is the prokaryotic cellular organism. No, prokaryotic cellular organism means without an organized nucleus. Without an organized nucleus. So what is the eukaryotic cellular organization? Eukaryotic cellular organization means with an organized nucleus. If not have an organized nucleus, with an organized nucleus is the eukaryotic cellular organization. Right. Under this topic we have learned about 2 points. No, one of them is the most prominent organism. The second one is have an eukaryotic cellular organization. The third one, they have the ability to live in different environment. They have the ability. They have the ability to live in different environment. They have the ability to live in different environment. Next one, they are not sensitive to antibiotics. They are not sensitive to antibiotics. It means Eukarya, domain Eukarya, if not organism that belongs to domain Eukarya, cannot be destroyed by using antibiotics. Antibiotics. Right. Next one. There are four kingdom belongs to this domain. Right. After the domain, the organization level is kingdom. Now when we consider about the domain Eukarya again can be divided into four kingdoms. Four kingdoms, right? What are these four kingdoms? Right, first one is kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista. Second one is kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Fungi. Third one is kingdom Plantae. Next one, if not fourth one, is kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae. Right, those are the four kingdoms that belongs to the domain Eukarya. Domain Eukarya. There are four kingdoms belongs to this domain. First one is domain Protista. Sorry, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia. Right. Let's go to learn about kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista. Forces and eukaryotic cellular organization. Now when we consider about the kingdom Protista, forces and eukaryotic cellular organization. Eukaryotic cellular organization means with an nuclear condition. Next one, either unicellular or multicellular organism. It means Protista sometimes may be unicellular or sometimes may be multicellular. Right. Next one, both one can be seen. Have an specialized tissue. Have not specialized tissues. Next one, live in environment associated with water. Live in environment associated with water. Next one, mostly are photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means they have ability to produce their own foods. Right. Next one, some species are heterotropics. It means both photosynthetic and heterotropic organisms are found. No? Right. Next one, example, algae and protozoans. Algae and protozoans belongs to kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista. Right. Then we will go to learn about organism belongs to kingdom Protista. Organism belongs to kingdom Protista. This picture represents the algae. Algae belongs to kingdom Protista. No? Right. This is the protozoa. Examples, types of protozoa is a paramecium. Paramecium, right, are the organism that belongs to kingdom Protista. Right. Then we will go to learn about useful and harmful effect of Protist to human. Useful and harmful effect of Protist to human. Right. First one, algae act as primary producer in the food chain of aquatic environment. In the aquatic environment, algae act as the primary producer in the food chain. No? Right. Next one, algae involved in forming mutualistic association with fungi called lichens. Fungi called lichens. Next one, to extract agar, which is used to prepare cultural media to grow bacteria. Next one, to extract alginic acid. Alginic acid used to make ice cream. Right, to make the ice cream, alginic acid is used. To extract the alginic acid, algae is used. Algae is used. Some protozoans cause diseases to human. Some protozoans cause diseases to human. Example, amoebiasis, malaria, sleeping sickness are the diseases that caused to the human by protozoans. Right. Then we will go to learn about kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi. Right. Second kingdom, no? Right. Contain chitinous cell wall. Chitinous cell wall. Second one, forces eukaryotic cellular organization. Right now we already know what is the eukaryotic cellular organization. Fungus also forces eukaryotic cellular organization. Next one, unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular or multicellular. There are about 1.5 to 5 million species belongs to this kingdom. This kingdom. Next one. They contribute greatly to decompose organic matter in the environment. They contribute greatly to decompose organic matter in the environment. They also form symbiotic association with the other organism. Right now, we have learned about the features of the kingdom fungi. Then we will go to learn about useful and harmful effects of fungi to human. Right, first one, as a supplementary for protein. Examples, agaricus and mushrooms. No, right. Next one, bread and alcohol fermentation. Yeast, right, is the examples for this. To produce antibiotics, penicillium, no, right, the examples, no, antibiotics. Next one, decomposition of dead bodies and structure to cause diseases to plant and animals. Examples for this is aluham by Candida. Right. Next one, potato late blight is the some diseases caused by the fungi. No, right. Next one is spoilage of food. Spoilage of food. Right. Those are the some useful and harmful effect of fungi to human. Right.